What's up, everyone? So in this video, I'm going to go over the Muay Thai stance, the foundational building blocks of what pretty much any martial art is. So basically, like any martial art that you practice or do pretty much teaches you, the very first thing that they teach you is how to stand before you can throw strikes. And when it comes to Muay Thai, that's no different. So I'm going to show you the basic fundamentals of the Muay Thai stance real quick. And so basically the foundations of the Muay Thai stance are foot placement. Let's see, I wrote it down on this board. Foot placement, weight distribution, body positioning, and then there's key rules for staying in stance. And then guard, which is essentially where you put your hands, and that's usually lumped in with stance, so we'll go over that as well. But without further ado, so the very first thing that you need to know when it comes to achieving a Muay Thai stance is you need to know whether you're orthodox or southpaw. And I guess that's not necessarily something that you need to know, it's something that you could just kind of figure out as you go. But here's a little bit of an exercise that you could do to kind of figure out what you're more accustomed to, what your more dominant side is. So when I first started in our beginners class in Muay Thai years ago, back in like 2009, our instructor lined us up in a line, had us all like just lined up one next to each other, feet together, and our eyes were closed. And this works best when you don't know that this is coming and you're just not expecting it. And he would walk up behind each of us and push us in the back. And as we fell, he would say, "Stay where you are." And after everyone was through, he would say, "Which foot is forward?" He would ask us which foot is forward. And so for me, my left foot was forward. I didn't really know whether I was orthodox or southpaw. I didn't even know what those things meant. But, either or, for me, he told us, okay, so that's probably your most dominant foot. And this is a very interesting experiment that you could try to kind of figure out whether you're, orthodox or southpaw. And it's not 100%. It's not 100%. So really what you should do is try and try both and see which one feels the most natural for you. And and then you should probably pick one and then go through the forms, go through the foundational understanding of, the things that I'm about to explain right now about foot placement, which is the next step. So, once you figure out whether you're orthodox or southpaw, then we go into foot placement. And so with foot placement, so imagine that you have a grid, right? Well, there's two ways that you can do it. And the first way, I was taught the grid, so we'll do this first. Just ignore this line and this line for the moment. And then imagine, if you will, that there's a line that's pointed straight at your opponent. And so like, let's say your opponent is standing right here like this. This line is pointed towards his right foot. If you're southpaw, then it would probably be his left foot. Okay? So, but just imagine that this line is facing your opponent towards one or the other of his feet. Okay? And then you have this 90-degree corner, and then in between the corner, there's a 45-degree line coming off of that corner. And so you take your front foot, you put it on that line that's facing your opponent, and then you take this foot and you put it on the 45-degree line, facing 45 degrees. And then essentially you need to be wide. If I bring my feet too close, like this, and I just have my feet at a 45-degree angle, I don't really have a lot of balance going forwards and backwards or side to side. So you need to be wide enough. And what he would have us do is close our eyes and kind of jump up and down and kind of feel where we have the most balance. And you kind of have to figure out, feel the balance, feel the weight distribution, which is one of the topics that we'll get into here in a second. But foot placement first. So foot facing your opponent, foot at a 45-degree line. And yeah, so that's one way of getting into it. The other way, which is actually a lot simpler, have your feet together and then take one foot, your non-dominant foot, and face that at a 45-degree line. So I'm taking my feet, they're parallel to one another. I take my non-dominant foot, which is my right foot, I put it at a 45 degree, and then I just take this foot and I step forward and to the side. And again, you kind of have to find your balance point. You kind of have to find where you have balance side to side, forward and backwards. So the next step, the next point is weight distribution. With weight distribution, you want your weight to be on your toes, all right? If you look at the Thais in Thailand, they're so good. They start practicing at the age of 5, all right? And they're so good that their weight is distributed on their toes, but they have their heels on the ground, and it looks like they don't have their weight on their toes, but they do. Like they're just that good. Some practitioners, when I was first starting, he would have us exaggerate this, and he would force us to keep up this heel from touching the ground. And it just really kind of exaggerates and makes you have to stay on your toes. So weight on your toes. Now when it comes to how much weight you have on one leg or the other, sometimes when you're attacking, weight shifts a little bit. So if I'm going this way, weight shifts a little bit to the front leg, just a little bit, but generally you kind of want the turning to be what's happening, and you're not necessarily shifting weight forward onto this front leg, because with Muay Thai there's kicking, and so if you shift your weight forward, this leg is susceptible. If someone were to kick this leg and all of my weight is on this leg, then this is the linchpin of me standing. If someone kicks this leg, I'm falling down, okay? So when you stand in your stance, you want to keep it 50-50. That's what they say. You want to keep weight distributed 50-50 between the back leg and the front leg. You don't want to be too far forward or too far back. Now there are times when you're in defensive postures, when you're like defending from like strikes, and so you can see my weight shifts all of it to the back foot. And there are times when I shift a little bit to the front foot. But not every time I'm striking, okay? But generally you want to keep yourself in 50-50. And if you do find yourself going out of 50-50, you should return to 50-50, okay? So that's weight distribution. The next thing is body position. So when it comes to body position, they say, a lot of people say that the Muay Thai stance is square. And I think that what's missing from the conversation is comparison. People will say that the Muay Thai stance is square, but square would be absolutely square. This is absolutely square. My toe is not pointed this way. My toe is at a 45-degree angle. My hip, for God's sake, my leg, for God's sakes, is back. And since my leg is back, there is a slight bladed nature to my stance. You're not 100% square, okay? When they're talking about square, they're talking about comparisons from like a Taekwondo stance, which generally their foot is like this, they're like this, and their body is really, really bladed, okay? So this is bladed. If you're my opponent, this is bladed. This is square. Power hand. You wouldn't have a power side. Since these strikes, since these weapons, my arm, my elbow, my punching, right? My elbow, my knee, my kick, are on this side, there is a great, and it's a farther distance from my opponent, there's a greater chance for greater velocity. There's a longer distance, and there's a better chance for greater velocity to be obtained when you do those strikes on this power side, all right? Not only that, but if you have a bladed nature to your stance, when people throw their teeps, so they're teeping, a push kick, there's a chance that when they do that push kick can potentially slide off to the side. But if I'm flat, if I'm completely squared, there's no bladed nature. It's just gonna be something that's flat and then something that's flat, and it's a perpendicular angle, all right? So that blow is just gonna go straight into me. But if there's a bladed nature to my stance, I could potentially parry it. I could potentially knock the teep away. So you have those things to consider. Is there anything else about the bladed nature of the stance? I don't think so. So that's body position. So there are some key rules for staying in stance, all right? When it comes to staying in stance, and that's what these lines are for. So imagine that there's a cross, and so now in the center of this cross, all right? And there's just like, imagine if you will, a pole coming up, going through, and hitting the ceiling. And our instructor used to tell us, imagine that you're one of those like go-kart things with like the magnets at the bottom and like the metal thing touching the magnetic roof or whatever. And so we'd have this pole sticking up, and it required us to stay as tall as possible, and we were centered over this cross. And so basically one of the key rules is, if my foot is in this quadrant, so there's quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4, if my foot, none of your feet should be in quadrants adjacent to one another, which essentially means that the quadrants that are touching one another. So they can exist in quadrants diagonal from one another. So if you're southpaw, it would look like this, but you shouldn't cross your feet into quadrants adjacent to one another. So when I cross into this quadrant here with this back foot, I'm off balance left to right. Same thing if I move this foot in this quadrant in the adjacent quadrant here, I'm off balance left to right. If I move this in front and I'm in quadrant here, I'm off balance forwards and backwards. And it's the same thing as if I move in this quadrant here, forwards and backwards, okay? So you have to have your feet in quadrants that are diagonal from one another. So that's key rule number 1. Key rule number 2, when you're moving, when you move to the right, if I'm gonna go right, I take my right foot first and I move that foot first. And then I take my left foot and I follow. Okay, so if I'm moving right, I go right foot first, left foot. I wanna move right again, right foot first, left foot. If I go left, left foot first, right foot. Left foot first, right foot. If I don't follow this rule, if I decide I want to go left and I go right foot first, look what's happening. My feet are in quadrants adjacent to one another. So let's say I'm in my stance. I want to go right, but I go left foot first. They're in quadrants adjacent to one another. I'm off balance for this brief moment. And if your opponent is tracking that and paying attention to you like they should be, then they just have to time. They just have to time when you're about to do that. And when your feet are together, if you've ever seen Muay Thai fighters and they get that real nice wind-up kick, they can just swipe both your legs out from underneath you because you don't have a structure to your stance, okay? So that's rule number 2. Rule number 3 is if I take 2 inches with this foot, I take 2 inches with this foot, okay? So if I take 2 inches, 2 inches. If I go left, 2 inches, 2 inches. 3 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches. If I decide to take 2 inches with this foot, and I take 7 inches with this foot, look what happens again. My feet are existing in quadrants adjacent to one another. So it's important that when I move, I take 2 inches, 2 inches. When I go right, right, right. If I go forward, front foot first, back foot follows. Front foot first, back foot follows. If I go backwards, back foot first, front foot follows. Back foot first, follows. All right? Now there's a drill that you can practice. It's called box step, very simple. And I did not make a box here, but I should have, which is perfectly fine. Just imagine that there's a box around this whole setup, and you basically stay in stance, and you practice watching yourself in the mirror. I have a mirror in me, and I practice staying in stance. And I watch my feet. I make sure that my feet are on the balls of my feet. Every step I take, I make sure I have balance forwards, backwards, side to side. Step, step, forwards, backwards, side to side. Step, step, forwards, backwards, side to side. If I feel good, I feel stable, good. And you just keep practicing this, watching yourself in the mirror until you can get the feel of what it's like to be balanced. This takes a little bit of time. That's perfectly fine. Okay, cool. So the next thing and the last thing is guard, right? Where do I put my hands, right? So the next thing, when it comes to guard, you have 3 different kinds of guard. You have short, close guard, which this is when someone is close to you. I keep my hands together. My hands are eyebrow height, but I'm using my hands and keeping them tucked in so I'm protecting my body as much as my hands, however long your arms are. But I'm protecting my body, keeping this hand right here, keeping this hand right in front. And this is kind of when you're in the distances of punching, elbows, you're like a half step away from clinching. You're a little bit too close to do kicks unless you have someone who's really small and really flexible. I mean, I've seen it. It's crazy. And so you have close guard, right? Your chin and your shoulder are really close together. You keep yeah, let's see if you can see that. You keep your chin and your shoulder close together. So, yeah, I'm kind of torn on that because my instructor kind of told us that we should shrug our shoulders, and so that this shoulder kind of protects this side of your chin, right? And then you keep this fist in front of you, and then this one protects and is glued to your face. And his instructor showed us answer the phone, which is essentially you grab 2 phones and you're answering the phone. Jeez. There we go. Oh my God, what the heck was that all about? My goodness. Wow. Wow. Well, to each their own. Indeed. Am I caught up? What the heck? That's so odd. Alright, well, whatever. It's gonna work out. I don't know what's going on. It's alive. Fucking Sinji. That fucking guy. How y'all doing today? Did you guys like that instructional at the beginning? Was that a thing? Or was that not a thing? You know what I mean? Ugh. We're gonna do 2-minute rounds, 1-minute reps. That's what we're doing. Is the connection still bad? Hey Cyber, is the connection still bad? Hey Cyber, is the connection still bad or is it okay now? From a boxer to a martial artist fighter and teacher and coach, he's the best I've ever seen. Me? Nah. I mean, me to him. Nah, I'm not the best you've ever seen. You've been on the internet before, right? I'm sure you've seen better teachers, better coaches, better boxers, better martial artists who are also good teachers. There's no way I'm the best you've ever seen. Although if you're serious about that, even if you're not, like, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. I'm not a coach or teacher, I'm a fighter and a student though. Yo, what's good, man? It's me from last life. I know, Cyber, I know, hi. I know it's you, I remember your name. Thanks, King Dale. How are you? Is the connection bad? Or is the connection okay? Greetings, great warrior. Thanks, user. Greetings to you as well. Love the humility. Thank you. I'm great, brother. Hell yeah. It's good to see you guys. Awesome. If there was an overnight dude, say 21 years old, who wants to join the gym but feels subconscious, what advice would you give him? An overweight. Oh, overweight. You say you want to join a gym? Join a gym. Just do it. Stop being afraid. All of that feeling self-conscious, it won't go away until you step out of your comfort zone and then try it and find out that fear that you have is completely irrational and that it wasn't serving you to begin with. I would just do it. Go out into the gym, do it. Just do it. And then if you find a gym where people are shitting on you for the way that you look or that you're being overweight or whatever the fuck that gym, go to another gym, okay? There's a difference between finding a coach that's like, I understand your goals, I understand your passion, I see it in your eyes, and let's get you in here. And then there's a difference between that and a person or a coach being like, you know, you fat fuck, you're not gonna be able to do this, blah, 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 blah. Well, this class is for people who are like, you know, good and like not out of way, you know what I mean? Like, fuck that school. Go to a school where there's a teacher, there's a coach who's like, he'll take you and bring you up, okay? Thanks for answering, brother. I ask random questions, so I appreciate it. Absolutely, and I'm here to answer them. Let's go. Hi, Luna. Welcome to the live. Let's go. He's Boxer. King, live your life. Put in headphones and vibe. No one is going to judge you. That's not true. People do judge. But yeah, good for you for caring about your health 100%. Yeah. If you're talking about like joining a boxing gym, you know what I mean? Like, I guess if you want to join a gym of any kind, you know, like if it's just like a weightlifting gym, like, yeah, absolutely put headphones in, or, you know, just go in there and just work out anyway, you know, do what you got to do, man. Ooh, was going a little too fast, could hurt my ankle right there. Exercise regularly. Physical activity increases insulin sensitivity. How long do you think a couple should be together before they feel comfortable farting in front of each other? So my wife and I, we farted in front of each other immediately. Okay? Like, maybe not necessarily the first day, but we have been farting each other from the beginning. So if your goal is you want to find someone who you can fart in front of, find someone who you can fart in front of. Don't go hiding who you are to appease another person. You know, because if you fart in front of them, they're like, oh, gross, and then you're like, you can't fart in front of them. That's only going to build resentment for you. You know, you should feel free to be yourself and express yourself, even if that means farting in front of somebody. You know what I mean? So I say find somebody who you can fart in front of and just do that. You know? Thanks for answering. Certainly a weird question, but a legitimate one. Yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, ask your questions, man. I'm here to work out, and I'm here to also answer questions for anybody who has questions. Want to get my opinion on something? That's cool. Let me know. I'm here for all that. Wait, what about asking Senji this? Senji's gonna talk about pooping. From the start for Marshall and I. Thanks for answering, and Luna, thanks. Luna is my wife, by the way. It's my understanding that women would try to be more discreet about it than men, maybe. I found that to be true. So, I feel like you should, maybe that means that the man is the one that's supposed to be the icebreaker. Like, you should be the one that farts first. And just like when she farts, eventually just be like literally get in her butt crack and be like, ah, I love it. You know, cause then that might encourage her to like be more of herself, you know? And you don't have to do it all the time, just like once or twice to like encourage her that it's okay. You know? It's not about being a weirdo with the farts and liking farts, unless you like farts, which is cool. But you know. Love the answers, brother. Hell yeah, dude. Not a problem, man. Any questions? I'm here. What'd she say? Yes, usually women are, but not me. Yeah, but I bet you would if I acted like farts were weird and you were weird for farting. I bet you would. You would have been like, oh, I can't fart in front of this guy. That's what I think. But also, I don't know. Maybe. They do say when a woman farts in front of you, that's when it's getting serious. I don't know, can you attest to that, babe? Is that real? When a woman farts in front of you, is that a real thing? Yes. There you have it. Yes. I got pink 2-pound weights, or 0.90 kilograms of weight. They are finally comfortable. Laugh out loud, they're finally, yeah. Man, 2-pound weights. What's up, Babel? Have you seen the Jesse Inkman Bass Rootin' Collab vid? Nah, I haven't. Why? Was that something you told me to go look at? I don't remember, man. Agree with him? Yeah. That's what she was saying. She was saying, she agrees. What's up, Incremental Man? How you doing, homie? Pretty cool vid. What is the Jesse Inkman versus and Bass Rootin' collab? Now, I told you to just look at Bass Rootin' in general. Oh, I've seen tons of Bass Rootin'. You've got good stamina. Oh, thanks, homie. Appreciate it. I really should upload my fights back in 2009. I had unbelievable stamina compared to how I am now. My fights, man. I was like walking towards them when they were like, you know, like round starts, and I'm just like, come on, man. Like, I just gotta upload those videos. I just gotta fucking do that. Whew. I need to look at that. See you, King. I'm going to head out now, brother. I'll be back for sure. Hell yeah, dude. I enjoy your work. Take care and keep up the good work, brother. Hell yeah, King. See you, man. Adios. Have a good night. Bye, Apple. Bye, King. Goodbye, Luna. Now do a jumping low kick. A jumping low kick. A jumping low kick? I don't know if I would ever do a jumping low kick. I do like a jumping. Let me see what I can do with that jumping knee. See if I could do a jumping knee. A jumping low kick. Have you ever seen that? Is that like a thing that people do? Is that a jumping low kick? Knee low. Yeah, Sente does it. Okay. I don't know what his name is. Senshai. The goat. Nah, Buakow's the goat, bro. Buakaw. The White Lotus. Yeah. Jumping low kick. I feel like I'm not like... That's probably like the best I can do at the moment. I gotta see it first. Knee low, kick, mix, up. That's more like a soccer kick. I know, yeah, I know. I should probably look at the kick that you're talking about then. If Senshai does it, I need to see. But he also does like the cartwheel kick, which is weird. I still like the crocodile's tail. I wanna get better at that. You know what, let's practice that for 2 minutes. Whew. I gotta watch people, see what they do when they do this, the crocodile's tail whip. Maybe not that one. My knee's getting better. I think it's gonna take a little bit of time before I can like really be working out my knee, my leg, but I feel like I'm starting to do like an axe kick. Hope y'all are doing good today. 2-minute rounds, 1 minute rest in between for 36 minutes. Let me know if there's any moves that you want me to try out. I'm an open book, I'm willing to try. If I've seen it, I'll try it. So the trick to the jumping low kick. All right, let's hear it. Is that you stand 1 foot forward, and whilst you jump, the front foot goes back. Stand. How does it? So this foot has to go back, right? Is that what you're saying? I gotta watch this thing. I'm a visual learner. So when I see words on a screen, like it's cool, I can hear the description, but I'm gonna do my best to try and figure it out off of a description. I need a video. That's what I need to see. Yes, sir, maybe you can jump higher. Well, I would like to see it. Is that it? But that's a jumping high kick though. That kind of hurts my knee. Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna stop doing that. Just for now. It's more like a teep, but without poking. Oh, it's more like a teep. So you just said jumping low kick, so I'm assuming round kick. I have definitely seen the jumping teep. It's a jumping teep, it's not a jumping low kick. I've seen Senshai do the jumping teep. He does this drill where he's like, it's like, except he looks better. And he's so good at that switch too. I've seen his jumping teep. Never mind, I'm useless. No, it's okay. It's okay. I have seen the jumping teep, but maybe there is a jumping low kick. I'm gonna look it up after this. After this workout, I'm gonna see if there's a jumping low kick and see if there's something that is real that you're talking about. Unless you wanna find the URL, find the video, copy the URL, and paste it in a comment on one of my previous videos. I'll get the notification and I'll just go to that video. So like if you wanna do that, you know, find him doing it, you know, and then post it to me. Man. All right, let's get this workout. You're Bruce Lee. I appreciate the compliment. Only Bruce Lee is Bruce Lee. I am Drew Marshall. Nice to see you, Rosa. How you doing, Rosa? That's the end. Nice. Cool. See, this is 15 minutes. I'm gonna hit stuff. Nice. How's that, Battle? Can I suggest songs, or do you like monetization over the live streams? Yeah, I'm not monetized right now, so I guess I don't know. Can I do suggested songs, even though like later? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that works. I just don't even bother with it. If it's like songs, like I would not pick this live music playlist if I could just free willy pick whatever songs I want. This music playlist would be jam-packed with some fun shit. But this is like the Pixabay and YouTube Live or YouTube Library. So I don't know, I just don't even want to bother with it. But I'm curious to know what kind of music you like, so why don't you throw it in there anyway? Let me know. Man, hitting that punching bag. Fair enough. I'm a jazz man, but I was going to suggest some house. Hope everyone's doing okay well today. Make sure to double tap that screen, y'all. Thanks, Maggie. It's good to see you. I don't know if you were here at the beginning of it, because I was like teaching, and I was like in my own mind, in the zone. But it's good to see you. Yay. You put the heavy little bag that's filled with rocks. And that's a good shoulder workout. Woo! All right. Thanks for joining me, y'all. Got a little bit of bloody elbows. That's good. Rock on. I want to see about making a video about stance. Yeah. Do some editing and put it all together. Enough dilly-dally. All right, y'all. Take it easy. I'm here again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Adios. Hope you all have a good, blessed day.